I like cappuccino and fish fresh from the sea. Chips from the casino, I'll wager won't be free.
So, welcome to the Alien Spaceship. We're on board now, aren't we?
We're on board. We are
Welcome,
indeed. Yeah.
welcome to the Alien Spaceship with myself, Emmy Hikins, and
And with me, Trevor Gear.
right. So, Phantom was supposed to be here. She said she would be, but right. So, just before we get into business, so we've got a new talk show hosting podcast.
Good.
A football referee.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, myself and Trevor. You'll be glad to be seen again.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, and there's somebody else that's going to be joining us, Femi. So he'll be joining us about 3:15.
Okay.
I did tell him 3:15 because I wanted us to get the Alien Spaceship done and then just switch over on the second segment to the football referee, and then we just do it 2-in-1 because that's a pilot anyway. So that's going to be a pilot. We're just going to see how it goes today with that.
Okay.
You're happy
That's
with
good.
that? Good.
Is he a football man? Is he a football man, this chap?
He's a football man, yeah. Just a heads up. He gets carried away, you know. So he gets carried away.
I know a few people like that.
Yeah, he's very, very football-y, you know. Oh yeah, no, Manchester United is this and Chelsea's that, you know. So yeah. So if he does get carried away, we just give him time to come back to base, you know. It makes you all exciting anyway.
Makes it interesting, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it makes it interesting, yeah. You did say you was gonna get some people on board as well, so
yeah, absolutely. If it takes off, I mean, do you plan to do it the 2-in-1 or in future, or will it be a separate podcast? Will it?
That's what I was going to discuss with you. I was going to do the pilot today, just the pilot. But what do you think? Because I don't know time-wise your schedule. But if it's all right, I just think, you know, we'll do it in the same day. You know, just get it
Carry
done.
on.
Just get it.
That's fine.
Yeah. So apart from the hiccup today, what our plan was we'll get the Alien Spaceship done in this segment, and then the next segment we'll just switch over to, you know, the football referee, and we just get that done as well, you know.
Sounds good.
One stone, two birds. We're not advocating for animal cruelty on this show, by the way. It's just an expression.
But it could happen.
It's just an expression. Right. Yeah, we don't want to be getting hate mails from animal activists saying, "How dare you kill birds?" Or advocate for birds killing. I was going to talk about something that's on the news today. And now I'm thinking about it now, and I'm thinking, is it political? Is it not? But I was thinking about more of the on the cover-up aspect of it. So the cover-up that's happened over the years, and it was the issue about, you know, the people that were infected with contaminated blood or blood products that, you know, that they did receive. First of all, I would like to say that you know, our hearts goes out to all the victims of this, you know, horrible horrible event or horrible medical, you know, mistake. Is that the right word? So medical mistake. So, well, our hearts do go out to all the people that are affected, because we do understand that some of them are passed on already, and then there are people that are then fighting for, you know, the ones that have passed on, and it just makes me think about cover-ups, Trevor. Cover-ups. I mean, how would somebody blatantly know about something, I mean, how it begs the expression, don't it? How do you sleep at night when you know, you know the truth, you know exactly what's happened, and you then go ahead and say, you know what, I'm going to cover it up. It was the same with the post office scandal, wasn't it? Where this woman knew what she knew at the time, and yet just decided not to make it public or make the people that were supposed to handle it aware. Is it got to do with the compensation side of things? Is that what it is? I don't get it. I mean, why would you? I mean, she's not going to be the one paying out the money anyway, so I don't get why you would cover that up and let people suffer. And not do the right thing. It just, is there some
with the blood? You mean with the blood cover up?
Yeah, with the blood. I think that's more serious than obviously I'm not saying, we're not in any way downgrading the post office scandal and
post office, yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking about the blood issue where these people, or the people that were supposed to say, because what happens is, if you don't say what you know when you do know, what then happens is the victims accumulate, don't they? It's like, right, okay, so there's nothing wrong with it. You just keep on doing what you're doing, and then what happens is you have more victims, don't you? Because obviously nobody's told them otherwise to say, don't take it or whatever. And it just makes me think, did somebody make some money out of it? I mean, obviously, if you follow the money, they always say in movies, don't they? They say follow the money.
Follow the money. Yeah.
Follow the money. So is there somebody making some money? And if there is, who is standing to benefit from it? What do you think?
I mean, I think that obviously in the pharmaceutical industry, which I guess is kind of to do with the blood scandal as well.
Yeah.
The pharmaceutical companies around the world are just massive multinational organizations, and they make billions of pounds in profit, much of it, I'm sure, if not all of it, legitimate. But I think there's lots of vested interests, which is probably why these cover-ups happen. Perhaps the trouble is, it seems, certainly in Britain, cover-ups seem to happen quite a lot, or other situations where, for example, little children are murdered by a parent or a step-parent, something like that. And it turns out that the police and the social services have missed lots of opportunities to get that child away from those parents. And it, for one reason or another, it hasn't happened. And sad to say, this seems to be a recurring theme. I mean, I remember going back a few years to a child called Baby P.
Oh yeah, Harringay.
Was it Harringay? And the thing is that, they identified a lot of shortcomings. I think the actual head of the social services there, she eventually resigned, but then simply went and took another highly paid job in another organisation, which is what often happens. But it does seem that people who are or should be accountable very rarely get held to account, certainly in our country. I mean, there's been films about President Nixon, Richard Nixon.
He
was before President.
Watergate scandal. Was that him?
Yeah, the Watergate, whereby some of his team, so to speak, although they say he didn't know about it at the time. Excuse me. They raided the offices of the trying to think what he was. He was a Republican, I believe, so of the Democrat Party. I think that's the right way round. And anyway, that in itself, I think they were trying to get things on their opposite numbers, bad info. But it was strongly denied by Nixon himself when it came to light that it ever happened. And it was that cover-up which eventually led him to having to resign the presidency. But what actually happened there is a number of, I've read a book about this, a number of the people who were involved, very high-level people in his cabinet government, went to prison. They were held to account for what happened. Because in reality, I take the view, that probably cover-ups are going on all the time in most societies, most Western societies as well. And the powers that be consider it best that the public, Joe Public, Joanna Public, don't know about certain things. And maybe in some respects that's not a bad thing in some situations. But the trouble is that practice can spread. I mean, I was reading recently that, and we've heard it before, that that coronavirus, COVID-19, did escape, or was allowed to escape, from a Chinese laboratory, right. Which that's considered much more now to be the case. But again, whether anybody in China will be held accountable for that, I don't know. But as for the post office, for example, what happened to those postmasters? I think there were 900 or 1,000. Some of them went to prison.
Yeah.
Many of them have put their own money in to correct deficits of money that were not theirs. It was all this computer system. Yeah. And the point that seems to be that the leaders of the